Hey guys, welcome back with more Transformers figure. This time let me throw a video up on this set. This is the Ghost Starscream versus Haunted Waspinator, BWVS-08 Transformers premium finish. Takara Tomy. This is very reminiscent of a Masterpiece box, but it's not. It's pretty much like Earthrise, Starscream, and I guess Waspinator. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge Beast Wars fan. I think it's an awesome show, but I specifically got this to get Ghost Starscream. So yes, I paid the price for two figures just to get the one. So yeah, sue me for that. Again, this comes in this pretty much Masterpiece-like packaging, right? And I've already opened this. So inside of here, you actually get this, which is pretty cool. It's actually meant to sit this way. And let me adjust the camera for you guys here. And essentially you've got Starscream here in his jet mode, you got Waspinator here in his beast mode, BWVS-08, whatever that means, and all the text. Takara Tomy, really cool, black and white and gray. It's like a slip-on case, and you've got, of course, Starscream here, you know, it's got that grin there, and you got Waspinator here in his bot mode. But really cool packaging. And how this opens is you open this up, it's like a slip-on, which again, that's cool enough on its own. Then you get this cardboard looking box, which is not bad, you know, it's really cool. You've got your you know, Beast Wars, I think, logos over here on the left and the right, and this kind of just opens up. It's like a deal where you open this up as such, and inside, and they're really making I don't keep my packaging anymore because I'm running out of space, but they're making it really hard here. I love the way they've packaged this with the Japanese text. This is a clear or a plastic and cardboard, really nicely done. I mean, it is awesome. So I may try and see if I can just keep this whole box, because the container, the way they've done this is really cool. And again, it looks awesome. So you've got this, and I thought this was maybe a whole box that you pull out, but it's just it's a cover. So you could pull out the whole thing, like the tray with the figure, but you could just pull this section out, and yeah. And inside of here, on the bottom here, you've got Ghost Starscream, you know, and Waspinator here in the relevant modes. So again, this is really cool. And then here you got black and white on the packaging. Again, this is so awesome. Again, they're making it harder and harder for me to want to get rid of all this packaging. You've got just a protective tray on the top, and then in here you do get the actual figures. You can pull these out, and of course you got your instructions here in Japanese. It looks like some cards. So I'm gonna open this up, give it a thorough look. But even the beast mode, as I said, I'm not huge on Beast Wars, but it looks really nice to paint. And of course, the main reason why I got this was because of Ghost Starscream. So I'm a huge Transformer shill here, but this looks really nice as well. So I'm gonna open this up and yeah, give you guys a look. But man, the packaging, great job, guys. They're really knocking it out of the park. I can't keep my boxes, but I may end up choosing to keep this whole deal here. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing. So took these two bad boys out of their cardboard and plastic prison there. Figure I'd give you a look. This is how they come in the packaging. As you saw earlier, they come in their alt modes or vehicle modes. So we'll leave my main interest for last, which is Starscream, and we'll go over real quick through Waspinator here. Again, I am not too familiar with Beast Wars. Obviously, I know it was a great show back in its day. I am familiar with some of the episodes, specifically the one that where Starscream, I guess, possesses you know, Waspinator here. So, and of course, being a G1 fan, I know Ghost Starscream did make some appearances, at least in season 3, at least in 2 episodes that I can remember. But taking it back to Waspinator here, I don't have the original release of this figure. I know this has been released before, but it looks really cool. Again, the green that they've used there, I know they call it premium finish or whatever you want to call it, but it does look really nice. The green is nice and even, some really nice detail. Looking at the wings, you get this soft or plastic clear with purple with the nice lines on the wings. Of course, the back, I forget what this is called, a thorax or whatever you want to call it, looks really good. Again, with the bee or wasp rather look, and again the black and gold, it's done really well. And of course, you got your legs in this brown, give it a bit of a almost like pewter metallic look to them. So kudos to them, because I think they've done an awesome job with the paint job here. And then love the eyes, again the purple with the little line work and panels or whatever you want to call it, looks really cool. And of course, you got the head in that jade green, and then underneath, not too bad. You can see the robot legs, but I think this works, right? I mean, the robot legs are kind of hanging down at the bottom, but I think overall this is a nice little beast mode, and it sits really well, looks really cool. I think I may opt to leave this guy, I think, in this mode here. But again, this is a nice little piece if you are into Beast Wars, and if you're not, I think it's a nice display piece for anyone's collection. So we'll move on from Waspinator, and we'll move on to the reason as to why I got this set is Starscream. Now, I'm a glutton for punishment because I do have this mold at least, I want to say at a minimum 3 times. I have the Earthrise Starscream, and I have 2 copies of Studio Series 86 Coronation Starscream. And then I guess if you want to count the other Seekers, Skywarp, and Thundercracker, I also have those molds. So yeah, I'm very familiar with this mold. Same transformation. The only difference being is most of the figure is plastic. When I initially saw this, I was under the impression that it was going to be all clear plastic, but there are certain pieces, especially around the joints, where it's solid plastic, just like the Earthrise figure. But to start us off, you could see all clear, which looks really awesome in jet mode. I will be displaying this guy in his robot mode, but in the jet mode he looks really cool. They've managed to do all clear plastic to most of the airplane body. The red here is clear red, kind of like a Jolly Rancher. You got the cockpit in the see-through or clear orange. Same thing here with the wings in the back. This blue, or whatever color you want to call this, with the red paint, it's really well done, but that's clear plastic as well. Going on underneath, you got more red. Love the red here on the chest. Essentially this is a robot chest, but underneath the airplane you've got more of this clear red plastic. And again, same thing here. The legs are mostly all this clear see-through plastic again, and the same thing with the null rays that get attached. They're all clear plastic. Love, again, going back, same color as the wings, his feet, or the back essentially of the airplane mode here in this blue. And as I said, you do have some pieces that are solid plastic. So looking back at or thinking back to the Earthrise Starscream, these are the same fins. It's not clear. I'm unsure as to why. Maybe it had to do with the fact that it would be hinged here with this joint in clear plastic, and I don't know if they were afraid of breakage. But yeah, this is not clear. It's just a solid gray. And you'll see underneath too, as you look here, for example, once we get to the robot mode, the forearms and the hands are clear plastic as well. And you got a couple other joints here. It looks like the neck part here that is solid gray plastic. So it's not all clear see-through. The majority of it is, and what's there, I think it's done pretty well. I'm not a huge fan of clear plastic, but this is not bad looking at all. And again, I think you just have to be a little careful, when pulling things or attaching things or transforming this guy, just to avoid. So it'll be interesting to see how it holds up over time. But yeah, again, I do like this mode, but I will be displaying this guy in the robot mode, at least for him. He does look really cool, but just want to show you guys what he looks like with mostly all clear plastic body here. So here we are back in robot mode for both Waspinator and Starscream. Let's put good old Starscream here off to the side and concentrate on Waspinator here. I won't go through the transformation simply because this releases, both of them have been out for quite a while. I think this guy originally came out as part of the Kingdom line. here in the US. So yeah, I mean, it's a cool little figure. The only thing I don't like, and I guess it's kind of similar to the Insecticons, is a lot of the bug appendages are kind of just hanging out there. And they kind of get in the way of some of the articulation. It's not terrible, but kind of bothers me that the legs are kind of just hanging out. The robot mode itself looks really cool. What I do specifically like is the wings kind of just folding back. They almost look like a purple cape. Also, he does have a weapon that can go attached to his hands via a peg, and it's actually part of his backside. So you'll see it here. That part goes tabbed in there. You could take it out, and he can use that as a weapon. Not sure if you can see there. The head looks really cool. They've got some awesome light piping in the back done in this nice clear purple. So the head itself on this bot mode is pretty awesome. And then I don't know if you could tell, but there's a nice Decepticon insignia there on the back of the head in silver there. What I did notice is I believe the Kingdom figure did have I think the insignia here on the arms, and this one does not. So I don't know if that has to do with the fact that technically this is I guess an Asia release, but nonetheless just wanted to note that. But overall, the jade green with the gold and the black mixes in really well. I think he looks really cool. I specifically appreciate the fact that the head becomes a chest. I think again that looks nice. So the details and colors that are here do look pretty cool. Again, as I said, I'm not too familiar with Beast Wars, but I gotta say this bug mode is pretty cool. You do get some articulations to the head. You know, you can fully turn it around if you want. I love the sculpt they gave us on it. The arms you can rotate. You've got some elbow articulation here, and you know you got elbow, shoulder, and you got at the bicep too. Looks like you got some additional movement there that you can play with. The waist can rotate, but you essentially have to then undo the transformation and sort of take out the whole chest part. So I won't really count that for articulation. The legs, you can kick forward just about that much, and you could do a 90-degree knee bend. The joints are nice and tight on this figure, which is cool. And then you've got your ankle articulation are done pretty well. So you'll be able to get this guy in some nice poses. The only problem being, at least for me, is that the bug appendages kind of get in the way. But overall, I think the figure itself, again, not being too familiar with Beast Wars, does look pretty cool in my book. The colors look really nice. I think, at least when I think back to the original Kingdom release, I do appreciate this one a heck of a lot more, because it does remind me way more of the source material. So yeah, so that's Waspinator. Then we'll move on to my boy Starscream here, Mr. Ghost Starscream. So this is again the Earthrise mold, and actually I think what they ended up using is the Studio Series 86 hands, because that's the Throne Starscream, I'm going to call him, had these hands that could open versus the Earthrise version that didn't. So that's kind of cool that you do get articulated hands. And it looks like they use Skywarp's head, because the Earthrise Starscream did not come with that screaming sort of look that this one has. Skywarp did from Earthrise, so it looks like they used that head for the basis of this mold. So he's a bit of a hodgepodge of different figures, right? So some Earthrise, some Studio Series, and then Skywarp from but overall, again, you get the exact same mold from Earthrise, no difference there. My complaints about that mold were this whole essentially the nose of the airplane kind of hanging in the back. And I know this goes back to the older transformation that I do like, but I just wish for the newer Earthrise figures they would have found a way to at least hide this back part here. But other than that, everything else kind of looks good to me. Again, you were continuing with this whole clear plastic theme, and it looks awesome. I think for adoration of Ghost Starscream, I think this plastic does look the part. Now, as I mentioned earlier, now the whole robot is not clear plastic, as you could clearly see here. The forearms and the hands are and the biceps here are all solid plastic, so it's the exact same as the Earthrise and the Studio Series figure, and the same thing with the joints here at the shoulders. My assumption is that maybe these were sections that because have joints in them that will bend and etc. Maybe they were afraid of breakage, or you know, whatever it may be. And then you also have, as I said earlier, the wings here are not clear plastic, they're solid gray, and the joints here for the wings for the transformation are also solid gray plastic. So again, not full clear plastic. They do have the gray plastic, I guess, in the sections where they felt were, you know, needed. So like here as well, where there's joints, it looks like they had a lot of gray plastic, as you could see it here too on the back of the knee. So again, it may be just so they felt they couldn't do clear plastic on the joints themselves. So again, what's there is pretty much Earthrise. So if you have that figure, this is pretty much it. It's just a clear plastic version of it. This being clear plastic, when you're transforming this thing, I would be very careful, especially around this chest area here. Usually to get these two sections on both on the left and the right loose, they're kind of stuck in there. You know, they're being held together just by pressure. So you just have to be really careful, you know, when you take this. I'm just afraid over time, you know, you may get some breakage here when you go to open the chest forward for the transformation step. So you just have to be really careful. I think any other parts, the only thing I noted is that fact that my wings here are a little looser than on my Earthrise figures. And again, I don't know if maybe a cause of the clear plastic, but that's just something to note there. And then the insignias are on backwards. You know, not a big deal, but just something to know. Again, I will be displaying like this guy like this in my collection. I think he definitely fits that Ghost Starscream vibe that I was going for. So cool little figure. Alrighty guys, so we're gonna wrap up the video, do some comparisons as we end the video here. But overall, really happy with this set. Again, I know this mold's been released a gajillion times, and this one maybe 2 or 3 times before. But I do like this little figure. The head is awesome on this thing, by the way. So this goes a long way, at least for me, to making my Beast Wars collection kind of grow. So Waspinator here is really cool. I don't have him, so I'm glad to add him to the collection. And Starscream, again, I'm a huge G1 fan. You don't necessarily need this mold, but I just wanted to go Starscream, which I believe they've released plenty versions of Ghost Starscream in the past, of other molds. I didn't get a chance to get those, so I figured let me jump in and get this guy here. So let's move Starscream out of the way, because just want to do some comparisons here with Waspinator and some actual Insecticons. I do not have any other Beast Wars figures, and I have to go a long way to fixing that. But just want to show you guys to see what he looks like to Insecticons, right? We have Kickback here on the left and Shrapnel on the right. And I think that could work for me. It looks like this guy looks like an evolved version of these two. So again, that looks really cool in my book. We'll move them out of the way, and then we'll bring in Bombshell and a Ransack here. So again, I think this definitely also works for me. I mean, the Beast Wars toys and cartoon always had a whole different look to it, but I do like the way this looks, specifically next to Ransack here. Then that looks pretty neat in my book. So we'll move these guys out of the way, and then we'll also say bye to Waspinator here, and let's bring in Ghost Starscream. So first thing we'll do is let's bring in Coronation Starscream, which is pretty much the exact same mold. You see him there with his cape and his crown. This guy also came with a throne, which is now being used by Megatron in my shelf. But just want to show you guys, obviously this figure and this figure are the exact same. They got the same hands. The only difference being, obviously, other than the clear plastic, is those heads are different. That's Skywarp's head. That's just regular Starscream head, and I'll show you that in a second. But again, just want to show you guys so you could see how these two compare to each other. And then here he is next to the regular Earthrise release. And how can I tell that that's a regular Earthrise release is because his hands don't have the articulation that this guy and that the Studio Series does. If you could see here, his hands kind of open. This guy, Earthrise here, does not have that extra articulation. So, but again, it's the exact same figure other than the clear plastic. And of course, the heads are different. So that's that. And then lastly, I'll show you the two other Seekers that I had here laying around. We have Skywarp from Earthrise, I believe, and Thundercracker. Again, the exact same mold, but just want to show them together. And this is where you can kind of see the Skywarp's head that they've used here. You can tell Thundercracker's head is different. The is different there, but we'll move him over to the side and see if we can bring these two together. That head is the exact same one. It's just obviously on Starscream is clear plastic, whereas on Skywarp it's just solid black and gray. So that's that. And then of course the last two, I had to bring in this guy because of these guys, because from what I recall, I believe Runabout and Runamuck were in the episode where, at least in G1, where Starscream is kind of messing around with one of them. I forget which one, but I think one of these guys or both of them were in the episode with Ghost Starscream there. So just want to show you guys to see what that looks like. And that is pretty much it, guys. As I said, this is a pretty cool little set. Of course, you got to have the nostalgia specifically for Beast Wars and for G1 if you really want this. I would say if you already have the Starscream mold like I do 7 times or however many times over, you probably don't need to go out of your way to get this unless you're specifically looking for a Ghost Starscream. But I think what we've gotten here as far as this 2-pack is pretty cool. So anyway, so that's it from me, guys. I guess if I missed anything, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, if you made it to the end, again, thank you so much for your very valuable time, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.